No, Tua he draws a lot of comparisons to Jason Tatum, MVP type of player. So I think he can have a poor game like he did last week, and then next game he's just gonna, show the world why he's one of the best in the league.
Yeah, if he's anything like Jason Tatum, then he'll definitely choke in the Super Bowl, and that's not good at all for us.
Hey yo, Phin Nation, what's going on? Welcome to the #1 show for the Dolphins here at FAU, Phin Tank. It's your boy, Esteban Big Guapo Rodriguez.
Alfredo, the leader of 2-0.
And unfortunately, the truth.
Because the truth has spoken. Listen, y'all, next week we got a Sunday night game against the Los Angeles Chargers. I am excited because we get another primetime game. I thought we were only going to have, 2 primetime games this season, and they flexed it for...
We only had one primetime game at the beginning of the season when the schedule came out.
No,
or 2. Oh, yeah.
Thursday night, Sunday night.
Now we're going to end up having 4.
That's crazy because we all know how well the Dolphins perform on Sunday night. How are we feeling about the Chargers this?
I'm extremely excited because we finally get to see the Herbert-Tua matchup at their peak. This was a huge talking point when they both got drafted. Who was going to go number 5? Who was going to go number 6? We ended up taking Tua. The Chargers took Herbert, and they've basically been the NFL version of the Justice Winslow-Devin Booker debate from 2015 in the NBA. Everybody's been debating who's better. One looked significantly better for a long time, and really was in the long run. However, I think they're both equals now. They've both been playing really well all season. Both have really good receiving core. Well, one has a better receiving core than the other, but I'm excited because we finally get to see these two play together against each other at the peak of their powers.
Yeah, this game is going to be exciting. Like you said, I'm very glad this got flexed to a primetime game. I think it deserved it. Just the way these two teams have been playing, the Chargers not as well as us, but still going to be a competitive game, I think. I'm excited, even though we have to travel, another road game. Dolphins didn't play well last week, but I think this week we can get out with a W.
Yeah, I mean, I got both Justin Herbert and Tua in my fantasy team, both putting up the same amount of points. So it's really going to be interesting to see them play against each other. And, you were saying that they're both equal. They're both at their peak. I don't think so. Justin Herbert's been on a really decline this season, all right? Tua's been shooting up.
Yeah, but
Justin Herbert's been on a kind of a decline. I mean, just last week they lost to the Raiders.
Yeah.
He threw 28 out of 47 pass attempts, averaging 7.1 yards, not the biggest numbers that he's gotten. So, we'll just see how they do against that Miami defense.
I agree, but the thing is you have to put in what they've done the last 3 seasons into account as well. Justin Herbert was the offensive rookie of the year for a reason when he got drafted. He's been a really good quarterback since he came into the league. Tua took a lot more time to acclimate and needed to have the system built around him to really excel and to show his strengths. So I'm not going to completely discredit Justin Herbert because I really like him as a player. But I agree. Tua is, he had a rough week last week, as a lot of Dolphins players did. But the trajectory he's been on has been like no other in the NFL. And Justin Herbert is on a bit of a decline. But I don't want to put too much weight on the Raiders' loss because the Raiders have been really hot lately. They started the season really poorly, and the Raiders have been catching fire as of late. So I think they just lost to a team that's been playing really well lately.
Yeah, I think that the way that Herbert has played this season isn't, like you said, indicative of how good he is. I think if he had the same receivers as Tua, he could put up similar numbers to Tua. Not to say that he's better or whatever, you can get into that, but I just think that it's a good comparison point for both quarterbacks. Who's going to come out better in this game? I think Tua has the upper hand. I think the Dolphins defense is a little bit better than the Chargers. So I expect Xavier Howard hopefully get another pick this week.
X-Man.
Kind of help Tua in the showing that he's better. But yeah, I just think that they're both very young quarterbacks. They both have a long career ahead of them. And you can't really judge them off 3 seasons yet. I think over time, someone's going to show who's the better of the two.
Yeah, I think the defense has another huge task at hand this week, considering the weapons that the Chargers have. Because, I thought the defense actually did a pretty good job last weekend against the 49ers, despite the points that they put up. I think they held them at bay for the most part. I know people made a big deal about Jimmy Garoppolo coming out in that game, but I don't really think that was that big a drop-off in their third stringer. So, yeah, they definitely have to watch out for, obviously, Justin Herbert has an insanely talented arm, Eckler as their running back. their offensive line is questionable, but the defense has a huge task at hand considering the weapons they have on offense.
Yeah, so what are we feeling? I think we're going to feel like this is a close game. We want to get into predictions.
Well, we're on the road against a tough team in our division, in our conference. So this is going to be huge in terms of seeding, in terms of tiebreakers. And I think this is the perfect type of game you want your team to play if you really want to show whether the team can compete or not. So I think the Dolphins are going to be up for it. I think last week is everyone has down weeks. And if there's anyone I expect to bounce back and learn from an experience like this, is going to be Tua. And as the leader of this offense, I expect him to get his players back in line. Jalen Waddle didn't show up last week. Tyreek Hill still balled as we expect him to, but the offense just looked a step off. And obviously that falls mostly on Tua. So I expect the Dolphins to bounce back, and I'm going to say the Dolphins are going to win. I don't know. In terms of score prediction, I'm going to say 26-23 Dolphins.
That's a close game.
I think it's going to be close.
I think it's going to be a little bit more high scoring. I think if you look at the Chargers and you look at the 49ers, you can make a lot of comparisons just with the players they have, like Eckler, McCaffrey, pretty similar pass-catching running backs, Gerald Everett and Kittle, two really versatile tight ends that can go out and make some big plays, and then receivers like Keenan Allen, Deebo Samuel. So I think that the defense might struggle a little bit in this game, just like they did last week, to contain some of those skill players. So I'll give the Chargers 26 points, but the Dolphins 33.
Okay. I don't think the defense struggled really at all against the 49ers. I mean, they kept them in bay for the whole game until the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter. But I don't think the Chargers are as hot as they were meant to be or said to be at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are coming off at a loss. The Chargers are both coming at a loss. They both have a lot to prove in this game. But looking at the records here, and the Chargers don't have a lot of home wins. They win more on the road than they do here. Maybe that could play a factor for the Dolphins, help out the Dolphins in Lo-Fi Stadium. So I think it's going to be around the same score. I mean, I'm looking at the score for the Chargers and the Raiders, and I think it's going to be the same. Chargers are going to score 20 points. Dolphins are going to score 27 points.
Yeah, I'd hope so. Like you said,
Sorry.
Are we going to edit that out?
No, we're keeping it in,
all
bro.
right.
I want the blessings.
Like you said, the Chargers, a lot of people were talking about Super Bowl for the Chargers before the season started, and people expected them to be big-time contenders and challenge in the AFC East. They haven't looked like that all season, but I never want to count out a team that has that many talented players in their skill positions, So while I do expect the Dolphins to come out on top because I think we just have more, I think Mike McDaniel acknowledged that he messed up in that 49ers game. So if there's any coach in the league that I think is going to learn off of that, learn what he did wrong, and take that to improve on the next one, is Mike McDaniel. So that's why I'm picking the Dolphins. Yeah, I think we have more talent overall in the skill positions, and our coaching is just some of the best in the league.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be a bounce-back game. It kind of it's giving like when Jason Tatum scored 14 against the Heat, and then went out and scored 29 against the Nets the next game. So
always find a way to have one too many Celtic references.
I think that Tua he draws a lot of comparisons to Jason Tatum, MVP type of player. So I think he can have a poor game like he did last week, and then next game he's just gonna, show the world why he's one of the best in the league.
Yeah, if he's anything like Jason Tatum, then he'll definitely choke in the Super Bowl, and that's not good at all for us. But that's besides the point.
This is not the NBA podcast, man, or show, man. But it was a terrible, terrible week for South Florida sports. I mean, Dolphins lost. The Heat lost. I don't know if you all follow the NHL. The Panthers lost. It's not even baseball season. I'm still sure.
Something went wrong with the Marlins.
Something went wrong with the Marlins, man. It's just been a tremendous week for South Florida sports in general. I'm taking Spain's loss too. Florida, basically founded by Spain. Ponce de Leon, St. Augustine, all of them lost there too. The United States also lost.
I'm gonna cry.
There's nothing good to say this week. Yeah, so let's just jump right in, bro. What happened?
The Dolphins, man.
What happened in San Francisco, bro?
As the self-proclaimed leader of Tuanon, I have to go in on my guy this week. He was awful. without him firing on all cylinders, the offense is going to struggle. He was throwing guys too high. He was looking rattled when the defense finally came at him. People were saying that Tua finally faced a good defense and looked shaken up, visibly shaken up. First of all, he didn't just face any good defense. I'm going to cut my guy some slack. He faced one of the best, probably the best defense in the entire league. Mm-hmm. But that still doesn't excuse how bad he played. I thought he was making reads too late, wasn't getting his other guys as involved. Obviously, we already went over throwing the guys too high, but he also threw some really questionable throws that led to 2 interceptions. I mean, all the talk about Tua this season was him being so turnover free and making good decisions and not having thrown that many picks. He throws 2 in this game. Obviously, he bounced back with the bomb to Tyreek to put us within striking distance early on in the game, but I think he was awful. And with him playing like that, the offense has no chance. I don't care how talented our skill position players are, you're not going to win if your starting QB is putting up a stinker like that.
Tua was playing so bad, Mike McDaniel said, you know what? Let's put Skyler and see what he can do. What's the first thing happen? Oh my God, bro. Why?
Skyler throws a pick.
He throws a pick, man.
That's completely like sums up the game for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing went right. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was playing in a cold weather-ish city, I'd say.
I'd say chilly. I'd say chilly weather.
Yeah.
Sweater weather.
Playing against a tough NFC opponent that, is expected to contend for a Super Bowl even, some people said. I don't know if that changes now with Garoppolo out. But, yeah, an overall awful game from everybody. I thought the defense did their best. We saw Xavier Howard
Xavier Howard actually
looked like a professional football player, and we still couldn't do anything with that. Mm-hmm. It makes me sick that we finally got a good performance from him.
I was happy, bro. I was happy with block pass, great coverage, the best we've seen. All season maybe,
and the interception.
hey, not the first time, all right. But he still has some. He's still been playing decently, but against the 49ers offense, bro, he was on fire.
A good performance from him. And what did we reward the defense with? 17 points, 2 picks, nothing to show for it. Terrible game from Mike McDaniel as well. Mike McDaniel deserves a lot of fault for this game as well. Everybody on the offense.
Simply play calling was awful, and then the fact that we lost to not Jimmy Garoppolo, we lost to someone called Brock Purdy, bro. Who is Brock Purdy? Man, he made a name for himself out there, throwing 25 out of 37, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah.
But you know what?
The offense gave him a chance.
Man.
The offense gave him a chance to make a name for himself, man. You turned the ball over 2 times. The defense obviously did their best, but when the offense barely possesses the ball in the second half, I think there was a point in time in the third quarter where the 49ers had the ball for over 10 minutes and the Dolphins had like 1 minute and 18 seconds of total possession time.
Nah, man.
You let them have the ball for that long and you're going to have guys like this making a name for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it coming too. Watch out for Christian McCaffrey. Oh my God, this guy, 17 carries, 66 yards, no touchdowns, but still carry that offense down the line, to help them score, whatever field goal, whatever touchdown they got. And it ended up being huge for them. Look at the margin, bro, 17-33, that's crazy.
McCaffrey really looks like himself for the first time since coming to the 49ers. And I mean, just imagine telling us, like, at this time last week that Jimmy Garoppolo would have been out with an injury before this game. And then, we would have lost. Mm-hmm. Their third string quarterback would have been in, and we would have looked this bad against them. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that they let Brock Purdy kind of get confidence early, and he just looked fearless out there against our defense. Yeah. And it was pretty disappointing to see.
It was pretty disappointing to see.
That's I don't know what's worse, bro. That or this guy's Jason Tatum's references every single week. I don't know which one makes me more sick.
Hey, that was a pretty good pun, bro.
But no, I think that it was kind of just a trap game, if that makes sense. Just because.
Okay. Yeah, I could agree with that.
We're going in with 2 of our starting tackles out against one of the best defenses. I think the best defense in the league, not really arguable. They lead like in almost every statistic except for like sacks. So it was a recipe for disaster. Nick Bosa killed us
Killed Tua, bro.
Killed Tua, got that fumble also. So
Yeah, man.
4 total turnovers in this game for the Dolphins, including the Skyler one. And yeah, the defense is pretty much was the difference maker in this game. I think the offenses were both equally mid. The Dolphins had some big plays starting with the first play of the game to Sherfield. And then, like you said, the bomb to Tyreek. And then, yeah, like you said, McCaffrey had some big plays on their side, but neither offense was super dominant. It was pretty much a defense dominating our offense and our defense not really doing the same.
At the very least, we're not going to face a defense like that for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And if anything, we're going to be facing some defenses that are actually pretty weak, aside from, the Bills game coming up in 2 weeks. But, yeah, now I think that was a proper test of where this team is at right now. I don't think it was the best example or the best sample size. Obviously, we had a big chunk of our O-line missing, and our O-line's been huge in giving Tua time all season to get his throws off. But, yeah, I think it was a good test of where the team is at in terms of competing now. And now they know where they are. Now they know what they need to do heading into these next 2 games that are going to be absolutely monumental for this season. So, yeah, I think they have a good baseline to go off of heading into the Chargers and Bills games, and that's why I expect to see a completely different Dolphins team heading into these 2. A team that's actually going to compete against 2 potential playoff teams.
Yeah, and I think we should talk about the next couple of games going because y'all don't know, but this is going to be our last episode in the studio for quite a while. So we're still going to be uploading. We're still going to do the Zoom shows, all right? It's going to be fine. But just for the sake of us being in the studio, one last time before who knows when, right? Let's talk about, moving forward, okay? So we have the Chargers game coming up Sunday night. Saturday night, we face the Bills again in their hometown. Something about the Bills at home on primetime is just scary to me. It's not the same,
Scary?
Scary.
Really? I think the Dolphins are looking at that game and most fans are salivating at the chance to really prove themselves to the rest of the league on primetime against a Super Bowl contending team. This team is 9-3. There were undefeated season shouts before the season started. This team is expected to be in the AFC Championship against the Chiefs. This is a huge opportunity game. That game specifically, to not only prove yourself to the rest of the league, but also just, get that huge division win against a team that you may see at the end of the season if you get that far.
Yeah, I think that. I think the Jets play the Bills this week. I think that's going to be a big game, just because
big rematch. Yeah,
we could see how the Bills match up. They lost to the Jets just like they lost to us this year. So I think that'll be pretty indicative of how they're going to be against us. Whatever they show, they've been pretty inconsistent, but still finding ways to pull out wins. So I don't think the Bills are the giant that everyone thought they were before the season. Like you said, everyone was saying they were going to easily run through the AFC. Now they're looking not as good as people thought, and I think that the Jets could surprise them like they already did once this year. And that'll be a big-time game to look at to see kind of where we stand in the AFC East. It was good to see that the Jets lost a close game last weekend, but the Bills did win on Thursday Night Football against the Patriots. So we just got to keep seeing how the race to the top is going to finish up. But I honestly think the Dolphins do have a chance to come out at top of the division this season.
And I would think so too, had they had beaten the 49ers or had they had not lost by this much to the 49ers. I mean, I want to feel hopeful, all right? I want to feel like, oh, yeah, we can do it. But I felt like that last week against the 49ers, all right? And I don't know if the 49ers are as good of a team as the Bills. I mean, the Bills are a hungry team, man. I mean, and this is a rematch in a division where they are 1-2 in the division games. The only losses they have are in the division plus the Vikings.
Yeah.
So going to this game in their home, in their home field advantage, it's just it's just a little nerve-wracking to see. It's a little.
Yeah.
You wanna wish for the best, but you're like, damn, like a lot of things are going up against you.
I think this game is going to serve as a sort of AFC East championship game. Winner of this one is probably going to end up winning the division, to be honest. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I think the Dolphins are, too. If we know anything about the characters that this team has, I think they're excited about a challenge like this. And honestly, after that, the schedule lightens up a little bit. I mean, we have the Packers, Patriots, and obviously close the season off with a tough game against the Jets. But, yeah, I think that if we get a win out of one of the next 2 games, hopefully 2 wins, then we're in a huge position we're in really good position to win the division and get one of the top 2 seeds in the AFC.
Yeah, and ho, Christmas Day, Aaron Rodgers is coming to Miami.
Battle of my 2 starting fantasy QBs, but I'm not worried about the Packers right now, man.
Yeah, I mean,
We might be seeing Jordan Love by then.
Yeah, they're not the Packers, that every season they're made out to be. I mean, they're just on a really fast decline. But the Packers have come up with some wins that were unexpected.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna be that much of a problem for Dolphins. You're playing on Christmas Day in your home field, man. Like, open up the tree, get your presents, go beat the Packers, come back for dinner, huh?
I agree, and I think the Dolphins are going to be ready for that one as well. I think they're excited for this one also.
Yeah, and then after the Packers, after first day of the year, 2023, first game of, the year, they go play the Patriots, huh?
So you just want to close it out?
Huh?
We're still... Okay,
Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about all the games that they have left.
Okay, my bad. You're going to have to edit that out, Moises.
All right,
We're gonna keep going?
where can I go from there? All right, and then first game of the year, 2023, January 1st, they play the Patriots. Not a big, worry for me either. I mean, we
are playing away from home, though. And I don't want to take the Patriots too lightly. That's the thing. I don't ever want to do that. But I do think we should win that game and the next one against the Jets as well. I said we were going to go 12-5 before the season started. So if things go according to plan, the way that I think they will, because I think we'll get to the predictions on the Bills game next week, but I think we're going to lose to them. However, every other game we should win. So we're looking on pace for that 12-5 record ahead before the season started.
Yeah, I think that these next 2 games are pretty much the only 2 ones in doubt for me, at least. Like you said, I don't want to undermine the Patriots, but I think we should be able to handle them. They haven't looked nearly as good as they have in years past, of course. And then I'm excited for that last Jets game because I think it's going to have some pretty big implications on the division, on seeding for the playoffs, and just on who makes it and who doesn't. At the end of the day, all teams might make it, the Jets, Bills, and Dolphins. I don't think the Patriots are going to make it at this point. But that last game is going to have, I think, big implications. So it's going to be a fun one. I think we'll be back in the studio for that game. So can't wait to see you guys again for that one.
Yeah, but we're in for a good ride for the last 5 games.
So what,
of
the
the
truth
season.
is spoken. We're going to the playoffs, huh? The truth is spoken, huh?
I want to say yes.
We'll see y'all in the playoffs,
You guys
bro.
are not as confident as I am.
We'll
I think.
see y'all in the Super Bowl, huh?
I don't know about that. Definitely the playoffs.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Seven Big Guapo Rodriguez.
Alfredo, the leader of 2 and On.
And it's your boy, The Truth.
All right, and then we'll see you back in the studio next year. Huh? It's been FinTech. Goodbye, y'all.